Hey everyone, it's CL, and for today's video I'm going to be talking about the problems with manga. And if you follow my channel, you will know that I love manga so much. I love it. But there are some definite flaws when it comes to manga, and that is what this video is going to be about today. So let's go ahead and get into it. So one of the problems with manga is that series can be very long. Like, I was so hesitant to read Naruto and Bleach just because I believe that they're notorious for being like very long series. So that's why I ended up watching the anime instead, because I was worried that I wouldn't have access, like maybe my library wouldn't have all the volumes, or maybe I would get into it and then it would end up costing a lot of money trying to acquire all the volumes. So I ended up going for the animes instead, just because I was worried I wouldn't be able to keep up with the series because it is so long. And along the lines of that, when you read a manga and get really into it, especially if it's one that hasn't completed yet, they are very long series again. Like, you are invested in it, and the new releases don't come out as fast as you want them to. And that leads me into another problem with manga, is that when you follow a series, especially if it is a series that has not yet completed, that once you read all the volumes that are out, that waiting period of waiting for the next one, it feels a little bit, it feels really hard to wait for that next one. And I know when it comes to like the manga creator, the author, the artist, it takes a lot of time. And those people that create mangas, they put a lot of hours in it, and I understand why it takes so long. It is definitely a piece of art. Not only is it a story, the artwork has to be on point, you know? And I know those things, but at the same time I get very anxious waiting for the next volume, and I look up immediately, like, when is the next one coming out? Especially because when the next volume does come out, you read it really quickly. Like, you can read it in like 30 minutes. So another problem with manga, and I kind of already touched on it, it can get very pricey. If you're going to invest in a manga series, especially if you don't know how many volumes it's going to end up being, it might start out with 3 volumes, but then before you know it, it has like 100, you know? So in that sense, it can be pricey. And one of the things I tend to do though, whenever Barnes & Noble has their manga deal of buy 2 get 1 free, I always buy the omnibuses and use the coupon and use my discount, my membership discount, and I end up saving a lot of money. But you know, you have to wait for those Barnes & Noble sales, and they may not always be available for you to take advantage of. Another problem with manga for me, that sometimes I can't tell a person's gender or age, and that kind of, it makes a difference in the story. I want to make sure that I'm following the storyline correctly, that how I'm imagining it in my head is correct. For example, in Black Butler, there is a character which I cannot figure out if it is a male with long hair, or if it is a female with long hair, or if it's neither male or female. Like, I'm still confused to this day, and this character has come up many times, and I still don't know if it's male or female, or if it's neither. And when it comes to like age in manga, like a character's age, when I was reading Gunslinger Girl, that was a very, I guess it's disturbing on some levels, you know? It's a manga that follows these young girls, and they become like these cyborg assassins. But the problem is that I couldn't gauge their age unless they really say it out, like, oh, this person is 15, this person is 17. I couldn't make out their age. And when they would talk how horrifying it is to have like this young assassin, I wanted to know how old they were, because when they would say like, oh, she's a young girl, and I'm like, how young? And are we talking like 15 and she's holding like a machine gun, or are we talking like a 5-year-old and she's holding a machine gun? Because yes, both scenarios are horrifying, but there's gonna be a big difference with a 5-year-old versus like a 15-year-old, and I just couldn't gauge like how old these characters were. And by the way, can I just do a side note, since we're talking about age and manga? I think it's kind of funny, and this is more with the anime, that Ash Ketchum is like forever 14 and he looks like a 9-year-old boy. And I think the main character in Bleach, I can't remember his name right now, but the main character in Bleach is supposed to be 15 and he looks like a grown-ass man. So I think that's kind of funny, like the difference there. I guess the last item on my list is when it comes to manga, especially if you are a collector of manga, they can take up a lot of space. So if you follow a series and have the entire series, where are you gonna put it? So you better have place to put it, because I follow the Black Butler series that has acquired up to close to 30 volumes. It's getting pretty close to 30, I think. And even then, like, I want to keep them all, but at the same time, they're in a box in a closet, and that box takes up space. So in that sense, when it comes to manga, it can take up a lot of space in your home, especially if your space is limited. So that is my video for today. Thank you for watching, and I will see you later.